We're going to go ahead and call the meeting to order, and we will begin with a prayer with James Shinkin.
If you would bow your heads with me. Gracious God, we give you thanks for the ways you have blessed our town. We pray for wisdom for those in positions of authority, for our city council, for our county executives, and we pray your protection on all our law enforcement personnel, our firefighters, and all those who serve the public. Be with us during this meeting that we may wisely govern our city. We pray all of this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you, and welcome back.
Thank you.
Okay, Officer Warder, will you lead us in the pledge?
Yes, ma'am. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, next, will you do a roll call, please?
Vice Mayor Dale.
Present.
Alderman Elder.
Here.
Alderman Langford.
Here.
Alderman Linder.
Here.
Alderman Proctor.
Here.
Alderman Rubel.
Here.
Okay, so everybody is present this evening, and so next on the agenda is approval of the minutes. Do I have a motion for approval of the minutes?
Motion approved.
Okay, motion to approve by Alderman Dale. Do I have a second?
Second.
A second by Alderman Linder. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Okay, next we have public comments. Do we have anyone present for public comments? Okay, seeing none, we will go on to additions or deletions to the agenda. I do want to add, we'll put it at number 9. I just have 2 or 3 updates just about sewer plant project, the industrial park project, and just a couple of things that we're doing around the city. So I'll ask for a motion to add that to number 9 to kind of the mayor's report.
I'll make the motion.
Okay, motion by Alderman Linder,
Second.
Second by Alderman Dale. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Okay, is there any old business? Okay, let's move on to new business, and we have Main Street Historic District and Chamber of Commerce next. Who's up first? Okay, we have Morgan White next.
Good evening, everybody. Happy Monday. We met before the Planning Commission and just proposed that the ordinance be updated to follow state law. And so that update would include some information that basically says that the Historic Zoning Commission may also be authorized to review the construction, alteration, rehabilitation, relocation, or demolition of any building, structure, or other improvement on real property, whether privately or publicly owned, which is situated in a historic district or zone and for which a permit is not required. No construction, alteration, repair, rehabilitation, relocation, or demolition of any building, structure, or other improvement to real property situated within a historic district or zone for which the Historic Zoning Commission or the Regional Historic Zoning Commission has been granted the authority to review and to grant or deny a certificate of appropriateness shall be performed without the issuance of a certificate of appropriateness. This is what the current TCA 13-7-407 states, so we just made a motion that that be updated to reflect in our current city ordinance. Any questions about that?
Good question.
Yes, sir.
The map that we approved last meeting, which I don't think it was here at the time, but anyway, the map that we approved, that is the historical district that we're talking about, correct?
I don't think a map has been put forward yet.
Is that the map we approved?
I think Zach passed that out for you guys to start just talking, discussing this subject, and that has not, this is only to just update the ordinance on what we will be doing in that H1 district. But the map was just to provide initial information about beginning the discussion about the H1 district. So that will come later, so.
We were advised, step one, to get our standards up to state law, have that read twice publicly. Step two, make sure that that group is meeting again regularly, like was initially set in the 80s. And then step three will be the introduction of the map. So we have a concept of what that might look like right now, but that still has to go through the proper processes.
So what this ordinance is saying, that any building that goes within this perimeter is gonna have to be approved by a board, correct?
So the way this will potentially work is all of this, everything that's in the ordinance is to match it with current state law, so that we're within good standing. Then there will be guidelines regarding the certificate of appropriateness. And depending on the building, it may or may not require to meet before the full Historic Zoning Commission. For example, residential property would be an example of something that is approved by city staff, and they submit for certificate of appropriateness, and it gets approved by city staff.
So if a person starts to build a house inside this perimeter right here, they're gonna have to come in front of the historical committee to get approved?
So those type of things haven't been decided yet. Once that historic group starts meeting again, they will look at our current guidelines and match those to other cities and see what makes the most sense for Livingston. So I don't know the answer to that right now. It could be yes, it could be no. It'll depend on that group, which is decided upon by you all.
The ordinance that you passed out, or we got in our minutes or whatever, said there's gonna be a 7-member committee, correct?
That is correct.
Okay, does the board appoint
What-
them, or you appoint them?
This-
Mayor appoints them.
Well, and it has to be approved by you guys, but there also
Right.
is an alderman on that board.
Right, okay.
That group will then meet, take a look at what currently exists, which it just says everyone has to go before the board. We don't think that's necessarily best practice, like the example that you just mentioned, a new build. So that group will meet and decide the best guidelines that make sense for Livingston. Does that make sense?
No, but, okay.
Well, I can send you some more
No,
documentation on
you're
it.
good, you're
It
good.
is a little complicated.
Yeah.
And it is an additional requirement on top of the building permit. So you need a building permit and then a certificate of appropriateness from the historical commission, generally the way it works.
So if you go to build or remodel or anything, then you gotta get a building permit, and then it's gonna be approved by the historical committee.
Either the historical committee or planning staff who works at City Hall, if it's something routine and it fits within the guidelines that they've adopted.
An example might be if you're wanting to rebuild a fence in your backyard, and that's been set as a guideline by that group, that only needs a certificate of appropriateness approved by city staff. In that scenario, you apply for that, they approve it, it's a quick turnaround, you do not have to go before the board, before the zoning commission.
But for example, if you're doing like a remodel on a historic house within the district, that might require board approval to approve the design, the remodel. Is the way it normally works.
And
And
even though you own the house, you're still gonna have to get approval.
in some situations, the home, it only applies to the home if it's 50 years old or older, if it has not already experienced major changes, or if it's a new build. So again, it would be whatever that group says in the guidelines, what they think fits best for Livingston.
With all the things that the Main Street Committee or before that, other committee approved for the downtown area, would those meet the guidelines, you think?
Well, you mean previous projects and things that have been done within what we would consider H1 right now? Would those meet the guidelines?
Yes, what we did over the past 5 years in downtown improvement, would those meet what you think the guidelines will be? Will they meet them?
I would imagine if it was done through a downtown improvement grant through the state of Tennessee, they have guidelines to receive that grant. These guidelines would be very similar. So anything that was done with those funds would match a similar guideline. I can't speak for everything that's been done in downtown, but if it was using state funds, yes.
And to my understanding, there's not going back, you don't go back and make people improve what's already existing, it's anything going forward.
Correct. This was set in place back in the 80s when they initially made a map and a commission. But to my knowledge, that group hasn't necessarily been meeting. And so for us to remain within good standing with the state and receive even more grants, it's beneficial to get this back up and running. And the benefits, again, of being within the H1 is that you are eligible for grant money, which includes facade improvements, roof replacements, sprinkler systems, new windows, new awnings, all kinds of things. So there is a benefit to being located within the H1 as well. Any other questions?
Andre, you go with this one.
Yeah, this is totally normal, lots of cities have it. Yeah.
Motion to approve.
Okay, so we have, we kind of combined number 1 and number 2 a little bit here, because her main reason for being here was to present this H1 ordinance. So we have a motion on the table by Alderman Dale to approve ordinance 2026-8-1. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, Alderman Proctor, second. All in favor? All opposed?
No.
Okay. With 1 opposition, motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Daphne, are you going to report? Zach Stevens from Chamber of Commerce.
Good evening. Passing down a document for you all now regarding opportunity zones. Last month, the Chamber submitted to Economic Community Development at the state our chosen designations for opportunity zones in Overton County. Currently, we have an opportunity zone that hits part of the downtown and goes toward South Church Street. That will be expiring. So we were, every county in Tennessee had to, or was asked to submit this to ECD, and then there will be a process that goes through where the governor submits those to Department of Treasury, U.S. Department of Treasury, and then we will hear back later this year. You may be asking, well, what is an opportunity zone? Because a lot of people wonder that. What that is it is an area that allows an investor to take capital gains in a designated tract, a census tract. And that permanently erases a share of the tax that would be due to the IRS. In this 2.0 opportunity zone, what has changed with the U.S. Congress is that rural areas are going to get a step up, a 30% step up in capital gains versus 10% in urban markets. So you'll see in this map, we have submitted, you'll see in map 1, that's our current area, that's expiring, so we couldn't submit that. And then on map 2, that is our priority 1, what we're asking that they approve as our opportunity zone, and then map 3 is the second map that we ask that they approve. So you'll see in map 1 that covers a lot of bypass, covers part of the downtown area. Could be a huge opportunity if for an investor to help with capital gains and to bring more investment into Livingston and hopefully Overton County as well. I know that's very complex. So any questions?
How much included? Things included?
If you look at the map 2, that would be what would include about half of Livingston. So it would come from basically Arno, this side of the square over to the bypass and up towards Allen's. It would include the airport and past that. So hopefully, these have not been approved yet, but that was what we asked that they do approve. So, and that applies to, this applies to both new construction and to someone who's going in to renovate a building. There's a certain process for both, but could be very good for investor perspective.
And this is just informational too. You guys have any questions for Zach about this?
Thank you all so
Seeing
much.
none, thank you. Okay, next we have Alan Lingerfeld from Symmetry Energy.
Thank you, Mayor. Good to see you all. Appreciate you having a few minutes for me to come and just give you a natural gas update. As you mentioned, I'm with Symmetry Energy. Just to give you an update on that, NextEra Energy purchased Symmetry back in January, on January 9th. So my email is going to change somewhere in the future, but that's usually about all that's going to change. They purchased us for our 32 state portfolio that we cover over the United States to enhance their wholesale natural gas market. They already have a natural gas division that sells gas to large wholesale type purchasers. It should, with that expansion of us with them, we'll probably be one of the top 3 to 5 natural gas marketers in the country at that point. With that said, is they are focused on all energy, not just natural gas. So we're still kind of a small player in their overall power provided. They do solar, wind, nuclear, natural gas, and coal. They own Florida Power and Light. So basically, if you go up to the East Coast and the West Coast, those are the cities in Florida they provide. So they own several other services like NextEra Energy Marketing. They're actually going to call us NextEra Energy Services. So there's probably, I think there's about 240 people in my firm, and we'll be integrated into them. Don't expect to see any changes other than an email. That's usually the way it happens. They told us to take care of the customer the way we take care of the customer. And they're going to, leave us alone and do our business. Now, with that out of the way, unless you have questions, you can interrupt me at any time. A couple things I'd like to talk to you about is pipeline, East Tennessee. When I was here about this same time last year, we was talking about East Tennessee natural gas pipeline was going to increase the rates to all the customer base, including Livingston. That took place November of 25, and it was a significant increase, over 65% proposed on top of that. Well, we had to pay that through March of this year, 26. So with Symmetry's intervention in the rate case, as well as several other entities that were customer-based companies, we helped get that reduced by 25%. So to give you some numbers, they was charging $1.77 over the winter, and they reduced it 45 cents to about $1.32 today. It actually started April 1st of 26, and that's the new rate going forward. Some other good news is that over collection back in November through March is going to be reimbursed back to the city of Livingston. Probably sometime fourth quarter, I'm expecting it in November, December. So that'll give you some planning time to see how you want to work that into your structure, rate structure. So, and that's significant reduction. We're really happy that it got reduced that much. We saw some other rates from other pipelines that didn't get reduced that much. So we feel confident that it, you know, I expect them to file another rate case in 5 years. So, you know, we'll see what happens at that point. But that is some good news. That's some money back to the Livingston customers. So, another thing, we're trying to get integrated into NextEra. They have a principal energy meteorologist. That's a hard word for me. But anyway, we have a call every Friday on weather outlook, and I've not been able to trust the weatherman the past 3 days in the past, so take this with a grain of salt. But the way the weather patterns are setting up for this year, for this winter, it looks like, I think he referenced 2014 winter. It's setting up as a super El Nino, and that turned out to be a real warm winter. Well, if we get a real warm winter, gas prices are going to be very low because there's not going to be a lot of demand. The adversity to that is your customers aren't going to be burning a lot of gas either. It's normal. So it could be a good winter, depending on how you want to look at it. Give you some pricing. This summer has kind of been up and down with the war in the Middle East. And to give you just a minute on that, LNG, liquid natural gas, goes out of this country every day, somewhere between 13 and 19 BCF a day. The overall production in this country is somewhere around 105 to 110 BCF a day. So let's call it 15%. So 15% of our domestic produced natural gas product goes away from us. It exports to other countries. A lot of it goes to Europe, Southeast Asia, like Japan, South Korea, over in Europe and the Netherlands, that kind of thing. When the war broke out, they hit Qatar, and Qatar is one of the largest LNG producers in the world as well. So when they hit Qatar, they took out part of their LNG export. So they're reduced, I think somewhere around 20 to 30%. And that's what's kind of spiked our LNG or liquid natural gas here in the United States. If the war stays good and the market is kind of been flat with the war, they can bomb and not bomb, that kind of thing. And the prices have kind of stayed steady. To give you an example, back in August of 22, when Russia invaded Ukraine, gas prices went to almost $10. Today they're in the 30s, so almost triple. And we've not solved that, so that's stabilizing in my mind. But that should, I mean, that's the wild card here. Weather is always going to be weather, but the LNG out of the country is the wild card. To give you some pricing, today, I pulled it this morning, summer is trading, the rest of summer, that's September through October, is trading around 277. Winter is trading about, winter, you know, when I say winter, November through March, is trading about 353. Next summer, 310. Next winter, 403. Summer 28, 339. So the market is kind of saying, we don't expect things to get out of balance for several months. So hopefully we can see good light at the end of the tunnel. To give you a little bit of comparison for last winter to this winter, last winter the average NYMEX price was about $353, no, I take that back. Last winter's price was average was about $375. This winter's averaging about 353. So a few cents less if it stays there. Hopefully it's gonna be stable. We're always gonna get cold fronts come through that spike some daily gas, but hopefully it's stabilized out. So to leave you on a good note, unless you have questions, your gas rate's reduced by 45 cents a decatherm, which is significant over last winter, and you're going to get a reimbursement for that. And futures gas price looks like it's going to be about the same or less. So I always like bringing good news. I hate bringing bad news. But that is a good outlook sitting here in August, hot weather. Still don't know what winter's going to have for us in store, but right now the market looks good.
Any questions?
I got it. I've been waiting for someone to ask this before I choke to death. If we're energy independent, which Mr. Trump always says we are, and we basically are, why do our prices go up because of an instant somewhere else in the world?
Very good question. I've asked that question to a lot of smarter people than myself. I'm no expert on it, but this is my understanding. With LNG, and I can talk LNG more so than I can crude oil.
That's all right.
Crude oil or natural gas is a byproduct of crude oil. When they bring crude oil out of the ground, they have to bring natural gas out with it. So they got to do something with it. So the higher crude oil gets, if it's $100 a barrel, they're going to pull it out of the ground and sell it as fast as they can sell it. And natural gas oversupplies the market sometimes. And then you'll see natural gas drop because it's oversupplied. The same thing happens in the world market. Natural gas is sold as LNG overseas, so it's a worldwide commodity, traded just like crude oil. So when a war breaks out, and like I mentioned, Qatar loses I can't remember what percentage they are of the world, but they're one of the top 3 LNG producers in the world with us, U.S. And when that gets struck and supply shorts the market and demand's still there, it's back to economics 101. If you short the market, price is going to go up. And then when it gets stable back out, price will come back down. And we saw that yo-yo or bounce up and down since last February when all this stuff happened or started. And I expected to see it more if there's more problems to take that supply off the market. I hope that answers your question.
How much do you think the city will get back with this 45-cent reduction? Approximately.
Approximately, it's 45 cents over the volumes that you purchased November through March of last year, which was about almost 197,000 decatherms. So at 45 cents, roughly $88,000. So
Good.
I mean that's a significant number to work with, however you choose to do that.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Okay. Thanks for being here and give us an update.
Thank you for your
Some
time.
good news.
Good to see you.
You too. Okay, next on the agenda, so each year we are mandated to have an audit by the city, and we just got I just received the email from our firm, which is Mitchell, Emmert and Hill, where they have agreed to do our audit again. They have been with us now for several years. Since I've been here, they're the ones that have been here, a highly reputable company. And they did, with board approval, we'll go ahead, they and submit all the paperwork necessary to the comptroller's office to do our audit again for this next fiscal year.
What is the timetable for the audit?
Well, we're supposed to have our audit done by December 31st of this year. So after the fiscal year closes, June 30th, we have until the end of the year to do it. So,
Does this pertain to the letter in the packet?
no, the letter in the packet pertains to our last year's is still, they did extend to the end of this month to complete it. So, sometimes, if paperwork gets submitted to them a little bit late or they have a lot on their plate, it does take a little while, and they run into, there are things sometimes that are hard to resolve, but they predict to be finished this year by 8/31 with last year's audit. So it is late this year.
If I understand this, because of this audit, this year's budget's not been final.
The budget is finalized. We have to resubmit once our audit is finished to the comptroller's office. And then they can turn around and approve our budget for this next fiscal year. But during that time, until it's done, they do have to send us paperwork saying that the budget is not approved until the audit is complete. And then we do additional paperwork, and hopefully it will be approved after that. So same thing happened last year when we were the two audits late when we finally finished. Our first budget, we got something saying it was not approved, but then at the end of August, we received something approving the budget. So we've got some more paperwork to do. Hopefully they will wrap up this audit shortly.
So you need a motion?
I need a motion.
I'll make the motion.
Okay, so I have a motion on the table to approve the contract with Mitchell, Emmert, and Hill for our fiscal year 25-26 audit. Okay, do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, I have a second. I have a motion by Alderman Linder and a second by Alderman Langford. All in favor? All opposed? Motion passes. Okay, next on the agenda, we did have, Nathan Dale did resign his position with the Board of Zoning Appeals last week, and thanked us for the time that he served, but we needed to replace him, and I am requesting to appoint David Parsons to take Nathan's place on the Board of Zoning Appeals.
Make a motion with David Parsons.
Okay, so I have a motion on the table by Alderman Langford to accept David Parsons, and a second by Alderman Elder. All in favor? All opposed? Motion passes. Okay, and then next, item number 6, we have ordinance 2026-8-2, and it is regarding the BZA. And in a nutshell, it is just to require, I'll read the portion at least where they're wanting applicants to submit their paperwork ahead of time, just to give a little planning. Whereas the town council has determined its best interest to the town to amend the municipal zoning ordinance regulating applications to the Planning Commission and Board of Zoning Appeals to provide the town and its planning bodies with sufficient time to publish notice and contact interested property owners in advance of public meetings. And whereas the mayor and board of aldermen of the town of Livingston, acting as town council, hereby desire to amend the municipal zoning ordinance to provide for deadlines on submitting matters to the Planning Commission and the Board of Zoning Appeals as provided. Let's see. In order to appear on the agenda for consideration during the current month, an application or appeal to the Board of Zoning Appeals shall be made in writing to the building inspector on such forms the building inspector may prescribe, stating the grounds therefore, and accompanied by the fee required under TCA 11-217.5, not less than 14 days prior to the fourth Monday of the month, and in no event later than 14 days before the meeting of the board at which the matter is to be heard. So in summary, basically we're wanting applicants to apply 14 days ahead of time by passing this ordinance for the Planning Commission and the Board of Zoning Appeals. Any questions?
David, what's your thoughts on that? You're the expert in this one, I think.
That's fine with me, though. If I'm looking at it right, all it's asking for is you have your submission in 14 days prior to the meeting, is that correct?
It is, it's just have time to get everybody the information and then be able to inform anybody who is asking for a variance or to go before the Planning Commission. It just gives time for everybody to review all that too.
Actually, I think that's a good thing.
So, okay. So do I have a motion?
Motion to approve.
Okay, we have a motion to approve ordinance 2026-8-2 by Alderman Dale. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, second by Alderman Linder. All in favor? All opposed? Motion passes. Okay, the next item is regarding the Rickman Road area where you turn off of 111 that takes you out to Potters and Pennington's, that little stretch of road that is now, it's a city-owned road, it's not a state route any longer. We get a lot of complaints and comments about heavy noise traffic and truck noise through there, even though we do have a sign prohibiting certain hours. Apparently it is still a problem, because since I've been here for almost 2 years now, I've had multiple phone calls. So the ask is for approval to get a sign to actually prohibit trucks except to, if they, local traffic, if they have business on that stretch. And I've already talked to TDOT about that, because initially I thought it was TDOT needed to approve it, but they said it's a city road, and agreed with it because we have an alternate route. I mean, you can just use the new road and that ramp, and it doesn't really save you much time, if any at all, by going that other route with the truck. So apparently they're still coming in at night. There is maybe one little business down there that works on dump trucks and things like that, so there probably will be a few trucks that would go through there just to be serviced or whatever. So I just wanted affirmation or permission to do that, and I didn't do a resolution, but.
We probably need to do.
Is that an ordinance?
You probably need to do an ordinance making it a misdemeanor to travel with vehicles or equipment in excess of so many pounds during the hours that you want to outline.
Okay, or actually it's prohibiting truck traffic except for local traffic or someone doing business on that stretch, because we do have an alternate route.
You basically want to make it a traffic violation, and to do that, you need to adopt it in your ordinances.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So we can do that.
So this is just for review, so anyway, y'all can think about it, and we'll work on an ordinance for the next time that has all the verbiage in there. But I did get an additional call and asked some.
The truck traffic coming down Highway 52
From Allen's.
Allen's is ridiculous.
I do get some.
At 4 a.m., 3 a.m., 2 a.m., but it's unbelievable.
Well, maybe we can visit that. I don't know if we can put both of those on the same.
It wakes you up.
So, but we'll look at that as well. So.
Basically make it a traffic violation and then give people tickets.
Right, and that's a TDOT route too, so I'll have to, so we have to get with them and get some guidance from them for that as well, so, okay? All right, any other comments on that? Okay, the next item is dump truck for the street department. We did pass this in the budget for under our vehicles. I just wanted to put it before you guys. And they had another dump truck. I was sitting there and they pulled in and one died right in front of me the other day. So they had already been talking about getting getting a new dump truck. It is a used dump truck. We have done our due diligence. Christian found it. We did NADA and Kelly Blue Book, and it came in, I think with our purchasing law, it has to be within 10%. It met those requirements. It's $68,000. It does have over 200,000 miles on it, and it's still that amount, but it did come in after our research within the price range, and I just want approval, if you guys will approve the dump truck, because we desperately need another one.
What was the final price?
68,000.
68,000. What kind of truck is it? What model is it? Or do we know?
You know, I have the information.
It's a blue truck.
So, no, it's not blue, I don't think. So, oh gosh, I think it's an international. How did I come up with that? Because I don't know my trucks, but I think it's an international because I read the specs on it. Phyllis helped me do all the, it was the NADA and Kelly Blue Book, so, yeah.
I'll tell you what, those things
200,000 miles, not a lot of miles for a big truck.
Okay. All right, so I have a motion from Alderman Linder to approve purchase of a dump truck for the street department. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, got a second by Alderman Rubel. Let's do roll call since we're going to spend this money.
Alderman Elder,
Yes.
Alderman Langford,
Yes.
Alderman Linder,
Yes.
Alderman Proctor,
Yes.
Alderman Rubel,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Dale,
Yes.
motion passed.
Okay. All right. Last, I just wanted to give y'all a little update. We, I don't remember if I talked about the wastewater plant last time, but we do have a CDBG grant, which is a block grant that we got 4 updates there. We are probably looking at finishing up beginning of October with that project. It's going really well. I think they've kept it without much interruption, and so Jeremy said that's going well. He also, regarding the wastewater plant, just talked about a couple things he was able to save on recently. Was able to reduce some sodium that saved us quite a bit of money at the wastewater plant, and did do one thing to one testing item that he was able to save a little bit of money at the wastewater plant. On the Livingston industrial site that we got the $1 million grant for, they did mobilize equipment to that site today. So, and they have 180 days to complete that project. What is December? I think December 2nd or somewhere around there. I didn't. We do have a timeline, but just to let y'all know, that is getting ready to get cranked up. So they did mobilize the equipment there. So that's great news. Also, I don't remember whether I mentioned this last time, but I do have some assistance with some IT at the city. Did I mention that? That I'm having all of our services evaluated just to see where we can save some money with upgrading our computers and all of our programs and consolidating, because we've got multiple people doing multiple items, and I'm certainly not an IT person, so have been evaluating all those things. And actually, TCAP was helping us briefly come in, and he basically looked at me and said, "You're going to have some help." so anyway, we are evaluating that currently and trying to see, make sure that we're being efficient, using our money wisely on all the things that we're doing for cybersecurity and upgrades at the city of Livingston when it comes to IT. So, and that's all I got. So if nothing else, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Okay, motion to adjourn by Alderman Dale. Do you have a second?
Second.
Okay, and a second by Alderman Linder. All in favor? Okay, meeting adjourned.